Hey everyone, it's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great day today. Second time I've done this video. The first one I completed. There's no sound. Oh my God. Thank you, Miranda. You're a sweetheart for letting me know that. Because I just would have let it go. So thank you so much. I love you. Hopefully this works. I've tried it a couple of times just to make sure there is sound. By using not so many choice words, but everything seemed to work. So maybe it won't work because I'm not using choice words in this one. This is a video response to Brian's channel, Braintwang. Braintwang's contest number 3. I love your channel. This is the part 3 of 4 of his contest going on. I've missed part 1, but part 2 I participated in for sure. It was awesome. And this is a birth of a scene, a movement, a genre, era, an event, something that changes musical history, or even your way of looking at music. Maybe it's a new genre that you discovered. Maybe it's a direction you took in your music, love of music. Me, I chose an event, a pretty historical and monumental event in Woodstock. So I've got the remastered CD soundtrack, double CD. Sorry, it's not a, yes it is a double CD. I kept on thinking it's not a double CD, but it is a double CD, and I also had the vinyl version of it. The cover's a little beaten up on this one, but the album itself sounds fantastic. So, yes, Woodstock. An amazing festival held between August 15th and 18th in 1969 on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel, New York. Just remarkable. It was built as a Aquarian exposition, 3 days of peace and music. They didn't expect it, but almost 450,000 people attended that they know of. They weren't keeping track after a certain few thousands. But as they engulfed this farmland owned by Max Yasgur in Bethel, New York, 32 acts performed in that event over a 3-day period, despite it was a rainy weekend. But it was a pivotal moment in rock history, and it was named number 19 of the 50th greatest moments that changed rock and roll history. So it was a pretty remarkable event. There were other festivals, and there have been other festivals, but I think Woodstock is the most famous. It brought together 32 acts that today you would pay a pretty penny to see all those acts, let alone one act. All this was brought together by a pretty reasonable cost per weekend, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Creedence Clearwater, CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival was the first act to step up and sign a contract for a whopping amount of $10,000. I mean, that would be maybe an hour's work these days, if that. But once they signed, everyone wanted to get on board and sign. So the costs were $18 in advance for the weekend and $24 at the gate. Can you imagine? $24 to see 32 acts if you stayed that whole weekend. And some of these are huge headlining acts that some of them are still around today, but just you couldn't even go to a movie for that amount these days. But they expected about 50,000 when they originally put the festival together, but they sold about 186,000 tickets throughout North America. And who knew that all these people would show up and overtake this little this little area in Bethel, New York. Jimi Hendrix was the last artist to perform on that Monday morning, as he took the stage at 8:30 in the morning when there was less than 30,000 people still hanging around. Yet there were up to upwards of 400, some say 500,000 throughout the festival, all over the place. It was only 30,000 stuck around. And there's a great documentary on the event of Woodstock, how they put it together. And just to see the garbage and the filth and the things that were left over after this event, it was just like a bomb hit this area. But he played for over 2 hours on that day. Pretty amazing stuff. Of course, he played that famous Star Spangled Banner on his guitar. He maybe should have been the highlighter of the event, but who knows? Who knows? He was still fairly an unknown at that time, but it was an extremely peaceful event. Only 2 fatalities, mainly because of drug overdoses. And there were 2 births. There was a couple of miscarriages, unfortunately, as well. But 2 births and 2 fatalities, so maybe it balanced out. Max Yasgur did make an appearance during the concert, and he got a standing ovation for his loan of this land, and the fact that he was so impressed with the peacefulness of this event. And even the townsfolk were leery at first, because all these hippies and all these people were coming in and going through this town, but at one point the event ran out of food, so the town people got together and they brought in all kinds of food, and because it was just overrun by people, they just couldn't keep up with the amount of food. So it was pretty cool that a whole town came together to support this peaceful event. You hear horror stories of other events that went on, but this one was mainly a loving, peaceful event. So Richie Havens wasn't expected to be the starting act in the program. The band Sweetwater was supposed to open the festival, but they got stopped by the police at this roadside stop, and also the highways were blocked as well. So Richie Havens, an amazing guitarist, artist on his own right, unique playing style, the one-finger playing style across the fretboard. He played for about an hour, opening the festival. Next, and I don't have every act that played in Woodstock, and the albums that I'm going to show you aren't necessarily related to Woodstock. They're just more related to the band, but the bands that performed at Woodstock. And again, I don't have every one of them, but I still wanted to show you some of the major acts that I found out that I actually had in my collection, which was pretty awesome. Santana, they played Saturday afternoon around 2 p.m. and played for about a 45-minute set, a mind-blasting set from a relatively unknown guitarist and band, and just blew the socks off everyone. Amazing performance of Santana. Canned Heat came in at, and what I would pay a mint just to see one of these acts, but you got Richie Havens, you got Santana, you got Canned Heat. They played Saturday night from about 7:30 to 8:30. And then following them was Mountain from 9 to 10. Remarkable. The Grateful Dead came in about 10:30, played till about midnight. I just picked this one up yesterday. Sorry. Wow, this is awesome stuff. And this one here also. But they played from about 10:30 till midnight Saturday night. And Creedence came in from about 12:30 to 1:30. late Saturday evening. Then Janis Joplin played from about 2 to 3 a.m. Imagine watching all these bands if you were still able to, despite the conditions that you were in. The Who, especially this band here, The Who came on at 5 a.m. I would imagine everyone was passed out at that time. But they played for about an hour. Now this is the Monterey Pop. This is another big festival, the Monterey Pop Festival. But imagine The Who coming on and you know, the exploding guitars and the wild drums and Roger Daltrey's voice at 5 a.m. in the morning till 6 a.m. You wonder who paid attention. Jefferson Airplane finished playing Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, Sunday morning from 8 to 9:30 about. But just hit after hit after hit, act after act after act. 10 years after, one of my most loving, I love these guys, they're just remarkable. They played about 8:15 to 9:15 Sunday evening. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a photo that Alvin Lee took of Woodstock. Look at the people, just remarkable people. So after 10 years after came on, the band came on. The band played Sunday night from about 10 to 11. And then Johnny Winter came in and went from about midnight to about 1 o'clock. I can't believe the bands that were in this festival. Then you got Blood, Sweat, and Tears played from about 1:30 in the morning to about 2:30 in the morning. And Paul Butterfield, sorry, apologize, Crosby, Stills, Nash played from about 3 to 4. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Paul Butterfield Blues Band was next from about 6 a.m. to 6:45. And then Jimmy came in, as I said, from about 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday morning with about 30,000 people in the crowd. So his, you know, would have been cool for 400,000 or 500,000 people to see him. It just would have skyrocketed his career to the moon and back. But as it was, he became a pretty famous artist on his own right. But this amazing event brought together so many fantastic artists who were paid not much for the time, but it gave them the exposure. Like, I wouldn't have heard of 10 years after it wasn't for Woodstock. I don't think The Who would have been as famous perhaps if it wasn't for Woodstock. The band and Creedence and you name it, just band after band after band. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. You know, the song Woodstock from Joni Mitchell. Just remarkable stuff. And there's so many other bands that I don't have from that concert that I want to get. Sly and the Family Stone and all those other fantastic bands. But you put upwards of 500,000 people together. If you look at today's date, bad things happen. But back then, very, very peaceful event. Everyone was getting along. Everyone was, you know, doing their you know, drugs and alcohol and everything else. But it was a friendly event, and some people were in their own little world. Some people partied together, and just remarkable. And without violence, and just with love and peace and wonderful music. So that's my world-changing event. I think it definitely was a world-changing event in music history. It brought together so many great artists that introduced the world to those artists, and that's how we maybe remember those artists, from their great performances from huge concerts like that. So that's my event. I apologize for my first video screwing up. I'm going to definitely check this one before I upload it, but I think everything's going to be good because it's a lot of work putting these things together. Anyway, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much. Go check out Brian's channel, Braintwang. Awesome channel. Like, subscribe. Great contest. Enter the contest. Have fun with it. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye now.